Welcome to Intuitive Writer, the podcast and YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the intersection of creativity and spirituality. I'm your host, fiction author Camille Picott. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Intuitive Writer podcast and YouTube show. I'm your host, author Camille Picott. I hope everyone is having a great day, that your week's off to a good start. Before we dive into this episode, I'm just going to give you a brief writing update. I finished Jesus Christ Zombie Killer, and my content editor extraordinaire, aka my husband, just finished his read through, and I have all his comments, so I just have one final pass to make on the manuscript before it's ready to be sent to my copy editor. And I always do my last pass of the manuscript on paper with my favorite Sharpie pen. There's just something about connecting with the words in the story in physical form that I really like. So I always do my last pass on paper with, and I like brightly colored Sharpies. I like pink and orange and turquoise. So I always treat myself to a kind of a cool, brightly colored Sharpie. So that's what's going on over here in the creative writing world. And I think I'm going to release the book probably in August. That's kind of what I'm seeing at the moment. We'll see. I was thinking I was going to release it in Kindle Vella. It's a new platform on Kindle, but I decided I'm just going to go for regular Amazon for this book, and I'm going to release it at 99 cents. So I'll drop a link in the show notes for the pre-order, but you can pre-order the book for 99 cents and get it delivered to your inbox. And I promise you a crazy adventure. And if you follow along this podcast, you've heard a lot of the backstory behind this book and some of the crazy scenes and different things that take place in it. So anyway, that's what's going on over here in the writing world. And speaking of putting books on sale and marketing, all that good stuff, that is today's topic. We're going to be talking about spiritual marketing, and it's this new theory that I have implemented in my own life, and so I'm going to be sharing that with all of you. So let's dive in. So first I want to start off by defining my definition of spiritual marketing. And for me personally, when I use that term, spiritual marketing, what I'm talking about is attempting to promote my books and my brand by using my intuition and my internal compass, and not necessarily relying on all the other noise that's out there. So that's the background. Spiritual marketing, relying on your own inner compass, your own intuition to help you promote your books, your brand, or if you're another type of artist, whatever it is that you're promoting. And this particular practice that I've put into place, I've probably been doing it for the last 4 to 6 weeks. I've named it Light Theorem. I totally love that name because it's weird. So I hope you think it's as fun as I do. Light Theorem. So in this episode, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to break the episode into 2 parts. The first part is we're going to talk about what the heck is Light Theorem. And in the second part, we're going to talk about how you can implement Light Theorem and your own spiritual marketing practice into your creative endeavors. All right? Okay, story time, my favorite. So we're going to talk about the story behind Light Theorem and how I developed it. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to tell you a story about the common housefly. And I'm sure when I mention the common housefly, everybody's initial reaction is, ew, gross, hate those guys. But you should know, without the common housefly, we would not have chocolate. A couple years ago, before COVID, I took a trip to Costa Rica with my family, and we went to a cacao plantation. And we got to actually stand in the beautiful cacao forest and see all the beautiful trees. And the trees are pollinated by houseflies. So before you hate on flies, think about how much you like chocolate, or if you don't like chocolate, how much other people in your life like chocolate, because we would not have chocolate without the common housefly. Okay, so now hopefully you all have an appreciation for the housefly. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Many years ago, I was a waitress, and I worked in this beautiful restaurant out here in wine country, and there were 2 tables in this restaurant that were at the very front in these beautiful picture windows, floor to ceiling, wall to wall windows. And the sunlight would come in through these windows, and it was absolutely the most beautiful spot in the restaurant. And anytime I worked the lunch shift, when people came in to eat, they would always ask to sit in the window because it was beautiful. They were attracted to the beautiful sunlight coming in through the windows, the beautiful views. So yeah, if you got to the restaurant early, you got to go sit in this beautiful picture window. And what would happen sometimes is the flies also really liked the sunshine and the picture window, and they would gather in rather large force in these windows in the sunlight. And it would drive the people crazy because they're trying to eat their food, right? And there's flies landing on them, there's flies landing on their food. And so when it got really bad, I would say to the people, hey, if these flies are driving you nuts, all I have to do is close the curtain. And then unfortunately, you don't get the beautiful sunshine anymore, but the flies will go away because living creatures, most of us, we're all attracted to sunlight, to daylight. We're attracted to things that are bright and beautiful. Flies are no different. Human beings are no different. The humans and the flies were all going to the same place. They were all going to the brightness, to the sunshine. So most of the time people would say, yeah, go ahead, close the curtains, I'm sick of the flies. Occasionally you'd get the hardcore person who are like, nah, I really want my sunshine. And so this really got me thinking. And there's a lot of examples in nature and in the world of living beings being attracted to sunlight. And the other thing that I thought of is that old science experiment that a lot of kids do when they take a box and they cut a hole in it and they put it over a plant, and the plant, no matter where you put the plant in the box, it always grows toward the sunlight, right? So yes, living things, we are attracted to light. We're attracted to shiny things. You're probably wondering, hey Camille, what the heck does sunshine and brightness have to do with spiritual marketing? That is a totally fair question, so I'm going to answer it. And first, what I'm going to do is talk about conventional marketing. And you're looking at someone that's tried just about everything. I'm very experimental. I like to try new things. So all marketing stuff that's out there around selling books and social media, most of it I've taken some sort of class. I've experimented. I've read books. So you name it, I've probably tried it. And I would call this conventional marketing, where you learn from so-called experts, whether it's someone that's very, very successful in your field, whether it's through school, a university. But basically, it's learning from the experts who have found success and trying to mimic their success by following their blueprint. And I've tried this for years. I've tried everything from not doing anything. There was an author that I followed, and his marketing advice was do nothing, write books. That's it. I tried that. It didn't work. And then, I kind of swung the other way, and I took classes and read books on advertising on Amazon, advertising on Facebook, advertising on BookBub. I spent a lot of money and a lot of mental energy pursuing those avenues with moderate to no success, depending. Let's see, I've taken classes in how to write the perfect newsletter. And I tell you what, no one can tell you exactly how to write your perfect newsletter because nobody's you. So anyway, like I said, I have been down so many conventional marketing paths, and I've really not found any of them setting off the fireworks that everybody's promising me. And as I was kind of observing and noticing this pattern that I had of repeating, of always trying to follow in other people's footsteps and trying to follow the blueprints of these so-called experts, I took a minute and I just stepped back and I said, okay, well, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? Because this isn't working for me. Trying to follow other people's blueprint isn't working for me. So what can I learn? There was one underlying commonality to all of these experts that I was studying, whether it be through books or courses or whatever. There was one underlying commonality, and it's not what you think. It's not hard work. It's not luck. What the commonality that I found between all of these supposed marketing experts was that they had all found a formula for themselves, a personal formula that made them bright. Some kind of a personal formula where they found joy in what they were doing, and it lit them up. It lit them up. Some of these classes that I've taken from advertising gurus, these guys are amazing. I mean, they love their spreadsheets. They love their data. They love their numbers. I mean, love them, love them. And it lights them up. This stuff lights them up. The newsletter gurus that I've studied, I mean, they found their particular formula where they were lighting up with their readers and connecting with their readers in whatever genre they were writing in. Even the fellow who said do nothing but write, I mean, he has a great following. He sells a ton of books because he found what lights him up. He found what makes him bright. And I truly believe that we all have to find our own brightness. We all have to find our own blueprint, and we can't always do that by trying to follow other people, because we're all here on our own journey. We're all learning our own things, and we all have our own internal compass. And I realized that I'd been spending years trying to let other people be my compass when I needed to just bring it home and be my own compass. And as I was thinking about, these flies and the human beings that were all attracted to the sunlight in this restaurant that I used to work in, that's kind of where everything clicked. And I was like, wow, all these gurus and these experts that I'm following, they've all found ways to be that sunlight. They've all found ways to be bright. And when they're bright and they're lit up, they're attracting things, because living things are attracted to brightness and light. And so this is where I came up with the name Light Theorem, because we all want to be bright so that we can attract bugs, right? Our people. And remember, we're all loving on flies over here because they make chocolate. So it's a good thing to be attracting your flies, to be attracting your bugs. So this is the basis of this spiritual marketing that I'm talking about. It's figuring out what makes you bright. What makes you bright? What makes you shine? What is going to turn you into that sunlight that's going to draw your readers or your audience to you? What is it that's going to draw the things that are correct for you towards you? And I believe I can do this by being bright and shiny. So that's the end of part one. So hopefully now you understand the theory behind Light Theorem, how I developed it, and now we're going to talk about how I'm implementing it. All right? We're going to take a brief pause from our show. I am a working author, and I produce this show on my own out of a love and passion for my craft. And if you would like to support me, I would greatly appreciate it if you would check out my books on Amazon. You can find me under Camille Picott on Amazon. My books are available in ebook. They're available in print. And they're also in Kindle Unlimited. So if you're a member of Kindle Unlimited, you can read my books for free. And I would appreciate anyone that would leave a review or share the titles with friends that you think would enjoy them. I also have most of my books available as audiobooks, and they're available on all major audiobook platforms, including Audible and even in libraries. So you can get them for free with a library membership. And the last way you can support me is by joining my monthly Patreon team. I have 2 membership tiers at $1 a month and $5 a month. And the $5 tier gets access to me once a month. We have live chats where you can come in and chat with me in person and ask me any questions about my books and writing. And for everyone that joins at $1 a month, you go into the acknowledgement section of all of my books when I publish them. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and let's get back to the show. So, to implement Light Theorem in your life, or in my life, I guess, I'm doing 2 simple things. And first I'm going to tell you what they are, and then I'm going to give you an example of how that looks, so just so you can get an idea. So, number 1 is find your joy. Follow your joy. Figure out what lights you up. You might have to experiment. You might have to be like me and take a bunch of courses or read books and see what you like. What are you drawn to? And by following your joy and finding what lights you up and doing those things, you will be bright. You will be bright. And the second thing that I'm doing is I'm really having to get honest about my own bullshit, because we all have bullshit and it drags us down. Bullshit keeps you in the dark, keeps you small, and you can't shine and be bright when you are weighed down by your own bullshit. So, 2 things for implementing bug light marketing is follow your joy, figure out what lights you up. What can you do to promote your brand, your art, by being joyous? And where are you holding yourself back? What's your bullshit? And everybody's bullshit is different, and there's tons of ways to get over it, but you really have to get honest with yourself and figure out where you're holding yourself back, what your deal is. Now I'm going to give you an example of what it looks like implementing these 2 practices, right? Following my joy and dealing with my own bullshit. So what I did was, as this idea coalesced and came to me, I was like, okay, so if I'm really going to implement this, what does this mean? So I had to take a look at everything that I was doing to try and promote my author brand. Everything. Social media, newsletters, advertising, podcasting, YouTube. I had to look at all the stuff. And the first thing I had to do was figure out what doesn't light me up. And sometimes this can be a little bit hard. My personality is very much a grinder. I can force myself to do anything and for the most part be relatively cheerful about it. So I really had to take a long, hard look, okay, what's not lighting me up? And I had the first thing that came up was advertising. I'd been working really hard on Facebook ads for over a year with some moderate success. But when I really took a step back and looked at it, I said, okay, this is very much like washing the dishes. No one really is into washing dishes. It's nice to have a clean sink afterwards, but it really was a chore. There was nothing in it that made me bright. I didn't find anything joyous in it. I'm not one of those very cool people that loves data and numbers and charts, and I'm just not. So I had to get honest with myself. I'm like, okay, I don't love doing paid advertising on Facebook. So off the table. It was a little bit scary because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I took it off the table. The other thing that I took a really hard look at was social media, because I'd taken some courses and I was following these blueprints from other people that were wildly successful. But I realized that I do enjoy social media, but for me, there's definitely a balance. I was trying to post 7 days a week on 2 platforms, on my author platform, my podcast platform, and it was sucking me dry. I wasn't enjoying it. So I said, okay, well, I enjoy social media, but I don't enjoy it to the full extent that I've been doing it. So I'm just going to dial it back until I get to a point where I'm having fun, where my posts are genuine and authentic and not forced. I'm just going to roll with it. So that's what I did. And then I also found other things that made me joyous. I really like making YouTube videos. I really like podcasting. And I really enjoy my author newsletter. So these are all things that I enjoy. So everything that I kept on the table made me bright. Okay? So let's move into the second part, the bullshit part. As I said, we all have our own bullshit. And personally, I have always carried a lot of fear of a lot of things, but a lot of fear around my creativity. Fear of rejection, fear of people not liking my creation, fear of people not liking me, fear of being real because I didn't think people would like me if I was real. Anyway, it's your bullshit, right? So, and it's all stuff. There's so many programs out there where you can kind of work on self-healing, whether it's therapy or, there's lots of new age stuff. There's lots of stuff out there that can help you. Personally, I talk a lot with the universe. The universe talks back to me, and the universe is very good at pointing out all of my bullshit and also giving me very concrete ways on how to overcome it. So one example is a fear of my sense of humor, because I have kind of a dirty, twisted sense of humor, and I've always been kind of afraid to let it out. And so I had to, as I was implementing this Light Theorem, I'm like, okay, this is a major fear. This is some major bullshit, and I need to step through it. So I've really been embracing that. And on my author channel, I've been making some really off-the-wall videos. I've been writing little apocalypse songs and setting them to contemporary music. They're really goofy. I sing with my pet zombie. I started this series of videos called Apocalypse Youth Camp, and I think they're hilarious, but basically they feature me pretending to get rip-roaring drunk while I teach my daughter how to thrive in the apocalypse, and I think they're really funny. So anyway, so you have an idea now of how I'm implementing Light Theorem. So let me kind of show you how this is playing out in my life. This is very, I've only been doing it for 4 to 6 weeks, so I've not had any wonderful, amazing explosions go off yet. I think I will. But anyway, I've had some kind of amazing results so far. The first thing is I was making one of my apocalypse singing videos. I swear in my singing videos too, which I think is really funny. Anyway, so you should definitely check them out. I spent about an hour one day. It was an hour that I normally would have spent working on Facebook ads. So instead, I'm like, okay, I'm honoring myself. I'm honoring my joy. I'm honoring what makes me bright. I'm going to let the Facebook ads go. And I'm going to make this video. I'm going to make this singing video. And I had so much fun making the video. I was so fired up afterwards that when I was done, I was like, wow, like if I compare how I feel after an hour of doing Facebook ads versus an hour of making a zombie karaoke video, it's night and day, you guys. One of them has me totally bright, totally lit up, and the other one's like, like, okay, I guess I got the dishes done. I guess I got the cat box clean. It was just another chore I was doing. And I've started to share these videos with my newsletter subscribers, and what's cool is I'm definitely getting a lot more feedback. Before it was like crickets, but I actually have newsletter subscribers that are writing back and telling me how much they enjoy my ridiculous videos, and my subscriber count on my YouTube channel has gone up. And it was cute. The other day, my daughter was looking at our channel because she's in a lot of my videos. She's like, Mom, look at your subscribers. They've gone up. So yeah, I'm seeing the dial move just a little bit. But probably the most profound thing that I'm finding is that I'm having more fun and enjoying myself more every day because I am choosing to do the things that light me up rather than doing the slog, right? The must, you must. So yeah, when I sit down to do social media posts, they're authentic. They're things that I'm either excited about or have something to say. They're not just this forced thing that because I'm trying to make a quota. Same with the ads. It's like I'm not doing it because someone's told me this is the only way I'm ever gonna make a bunch of money selling books, is if I master Facebook ads. So I'm putting a lot of blind faith in this internal navigation system that I believe I have, and I believe my intuition will lead me in the right direction if I just let it. If I just get honest with myself and deal with the bullshit that surrounds my creativity and follow what makes me joyful. I believe I'm just going to be super bright over here, and I'm going to attract all the things that are right for me and for my creativity into my sphere. So this is Light Theorem, spiritual marketing from Camille Picott, and I invite you guys to try it out. Try it out. Oh, and I should say that my Facebook ads have officially been off for about a month, and I have seen a small dip in sales. It hasn't been devastating. I thought it was going to be devastating, I have to admit. I was very scared. But when I talk to all of my other indie author buddies, everybody's seeing a dip right now. And my theory is, at least here in the States, everything's opening up. It's summer. People have been cooped up with, from COVID for a year and a half. People aren't reading as much. So I think that's why I've seen a tiny bit of drop. Like I said, it hasn't been like totally crazy, but I've definitely seen a dip. But it didn't flatline, which is kind of what I was afraid was going to happen. I was like, oh crap, I'm going to turn these ads off and nothing's going to sell. But it wasn't, that's not true. Things have been selling. So anyway, I proved to myself on a very small level that, okay, nothing bad's going to happen. And then there's actually been a lot of good things happening. And, just doing what lights me up and doing what makes me joyful, it's kind of cool because there's so little we can control in our day-to-day lives. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, can we really control how many people buy our books? We really can't. I mean, we want to think that we can, or, we want to control what people think about our books or whatever. At the end of the day, all we can really control is ourselves. So it's like, if I'm showing up in my creativity and I am choosing to do what's joyful, I'm happy. I'm happy and I'm having fun. I mean, that's kind of a really cool side effect of this whole Light Theorem, is you get to show up and be excited every day, which I really enjoy. I have one last story to share with you because I have to be honest, Light Theorem, I know it's kind of wacky. I'm really kind of getting into just being the wacky weirdo that says crazy shit. I'm really starting to enjoy it. It used to freak me out, but I'm getting less and less freaked out about myself every day. But yeah, I was really I was on the fence as to whether or not I was going to share it with the podcast listeners or not. And I had a really cool message come in from the universe. I was out at my favorite park doing one of my hikes, and I walked by this tree that I walk by all the time, and it was the first time I ever noticed that there was a beehive in the tree. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I stood there for a few minutes watching the bees do their thing. I love bees. And then I went home and I didn't think much on it. And then later that night, I went to draw an oracle card. I use oracle cards a lot. They are just a great way for me to tap into the universe and my intuition. And what was super cool, if you're on YouTube, you can see I picked this bee card. And this is from the Archangel Animal deck by Diana Cooper, and I love this deck. There's just something magical about this deck. You have to find the ones that work for you. I have another deck that I totally didn't connect with, so I stopped using it. But this one, for some reason, the messages really resonate with me. So I picked this beautiful bee card the same day that I saw the beehive. And this was the message that came through from bee. The bee card reminds you to do everything with joy. When you serve others, and the planet with your heart open, an alchemical change takes place, both in the giver and the receiver. You become one and thus spread oneness throughout the universe. Solidarity and togetherness grow in the consciousness of the world. I was so like this, I'm still, this message is so profound and so beautiful and applies exactly to Bug Light Theorem, right? Because Bug Light Theorem is all about following your joy and doing what makes you bright. And when that message came through, I was just like, wow. I've mentioned before that the universe always speaks to me through synchronicity. So the fact that I saw this beehive that I've never seen before, and then the same day I get the bee card and it's associated with this message about how important it is to act in joy and to be in joy, and that part about this alchemical exchange happening in both you and the receiver of your joy. It made me feel like, okay, yes, I am doing this for myself because I do want to promote my author brand, and I want to find my own way as an artist. But maybe there's also a bigger purpose. Maybe by choosing to do the things that make me joyful, maybe there's additional work that I'm doing in the universe. And I love that. I love that I can grow and expand as a person, and take steps toward things that are important to me as an artist, but also be serving the collective and the greater good. And all this was just confirmation that yes, I really needed to share this with you guys, because I hope some of you will accept my invitation and embark on this crazy marketing journey where you pursue your joy, and pursue your own bullshit and figure out how to get past it. I hope some of you will do that, because I think you will find more joy in your day-to-day creative life. But I also think that we all could be doing something much bigger in the world, right? With this alchemical change that we are being asked to promote, just by being joy, so that we can receive the gift of joy and we can spread this gift of joy to others. And I love that. I love being a servant and a partner to the universe. It's a beautiful thing. So that's the end of the episode. That is all about Bug Light Theorem, spiritual marketing. And if you do try to give this a shot, I would love to hear from you. I will definitely keep you guys posted, let you know what's going on. And of course, you can always find me online. I am at Right with Intuition at both Facebook and Instagram. So you can find me over there. Feel free to drop me a message or follow me. I do post, not every day anymore, as I said, because I realized I needed to find the sweet spot where it was joyous and not a chore. And I feel like I've mostly done that. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, I would very much appreciate it if you would comment about it on social media, share it with your friends, share it with any other soulful, intuitive artists you might have in your life. Please like and subscribe either on my YouTube channel or on your favorite podcast platform. I'd appreciate anything you can do just to support the show and spread the word. And until the next episode, I wish you all beautiful creativity. Talk to you soon. Bye.